Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you a little bit more of a backstory on this white car. So I bought it online for 800 bucks. The guy said, it's got a JDM swap motor in it. So what I've come to see is a Gen 2 motor. He said, but it's an original turbo car, so you still got the original transmission in it. And he says, the guy that had it blew up the motor. They did a JDM swap, then he blew up that motor. But when they put in that JDM motor, he claims that they put a rebuilt turbo in there, rebuilt the transmission, put a new clutch. So there should be all these nice fancy parts. And my assumption when someone blows up a motor is that the car runs pretty good when it happens, at least has a pretty good amount of usable parts on it still. So I start tearing it apart, and I already told you about the suspension bracket or suspension linkage that's all bent up and crappy, and his homemade radiator support. So I figured out real quick that he took this thing off some sweet jumps, apparently. I think I told you about the wheel that was cracked and welded. So now I was thinking I could sell some wheels for 100 bucks. It looks like they're probably junk. Maybe someone will want them for a car they're selling or something. But, I'm still thinking, okay, maybe my transmission's still good. Maybe the turbo is still good. Maybe this guy didn't just blatantly lie to me when he sold the car. So next step, I put my battery in there, the spare one that I've got. Just because I figured, I got power windows on a 300,000 mile car. I'm probably going to need those window motors someday. So, plug my battery in. Door locks don't work. Power windows don't work. Headlights go up and down slowly at different speeds. They look all funky. What else? The AC, or the heating and AC box looks nice, but it only works on the high and the next to high setting. So I might be able to use that to kind of make mine look a little nicer. But then I got into tearing apart the motor, and well, not really the motor, just the accessories on top. I wanted to check that turbo mainly, and I stuck my hand in there and wiggled the shaft, and it has the most shaft play I have ever seen in my life. So whoever rebuilt it doesn't exist. This thing was never rebuilt. There's no way. Or maybe I guess they could have rebuilt it really poorly and had their turbo come apart and shelled their motor out. But I kind of doubt it. I think he was just flat out lying to me. So it kind of drives me crazy. I've never actually, it's one thing to embellish the truth a little bit and maybe not talk too much about the things that are wrong with the car to sell it. It's a whole nother ballgame just to flat out lie to people. But anyway, so turbo's trashed. Motor is totally trashed. It's actually got over an extra quart of oil. There's a bunch of empty 10W30 oil cans in the frunk. So at that point, when I saw that turbo being that bad, I was about ready to just push this thing out to the curb and call it quits and not even spend my time getting this transmission out. So I decided to do one last thing with the transmission, and that's drain the fluid and see what the fluid looks like. And to my surprise, this fluid actually looks pretty darn good. I'm not sure how good the camera is going to pick it up, but you can actually slosh it over on the side, and you can see the side of the pan there. If you look really closely, you might be able to see some metal flakes here and there. But I was, at this point, with how poorly the car's been maintained and how most likely badly it's been driven, I was expecting to see chunks of synchros and who knows what. And the fluid actually looks pretty good, pretty clean. So my quest continues. I'll make sure to get this transmission out and just pray at this point that I don't spend all this time putting it into my car and then have the thing just be a total turd and pop out of gear all the time and all that fun stuff. That is some nasty coolant coming out of that thing. Smells like metal. There she goes. All over my garage. There we go. Well, that wasn't much coolant to have in a radiator. Wonder why the engine overheated. Ooh, that's some nice oil. Nice and black. And there's an extra quart and a half in it. I just thought about it. I need to get these axle nuts loose before I go too crazy. At least with the e-brake on here. Which that's one of the only things I found on this car that works. At least with that I can hold the back axles and get this sucker off of here. That's the easiest way to pull a cotter pin like that. Just grab onto the head of it, hit it with your pliers. It comes right out. Them some big nuts. I think I got a socket. Oh, that was easy. Holy cow. Looks like they've been in here before. Might be a bad sign. Oh my gosh, Harbor Freight. Try harder. Oh man, this would be way easier if I took 2 seconds and back to my car, but I don't feel like it tonight. I don't want to hold this side. I guess if the motor's seized, I could put it in here. Hey, that worked. Alright guys, I just found something that is shocking on this car. This one takes the cake out of all the ghetto-ness. Well, maybe the wheel still beats this one, but this is still pretty crazy. So, they managed to break 2 bolts on the cross member on the back, which is a pretty big deal because I think it's only 4 bolts that hold it in anyway. But then I'm looking at it, I just thought they were running with 2 bolts and that was the end of it. Oh no, they fixed it. They fixed it real good. Check this out. That right there is a weld. They broke the bolt down here and they decided to weld it right there. So that's going to be really fun, and it's all globbed up. So I'm probably going to spend 20 minutes with the grinder on that sucker. And they did that on both sides because they broke 2 bolts. Like, at what point do you think, like, maybe I should stop? Like, the car, there's nothing left of it. Doing anything else to it that I've been doing is not going to make it better. It's going to make it worse. Like, this thing is crazy. Like, it makes me think back to high school when I wanted to do cool stuff like wide body kits and slam my cars to the ground, and I never had enough money. And I look back and I'm kind of glad I didn't have money because I might have something like this. This thing is ridiculous. One additional thing I wanted to show you guys is with my family in town, we've been working on some of the home improvement stuff. So you may have noticed over on that wall, last week's video, there's a big hole there. So that was caused because there was some water coming in. My front door to my house is over on the other side of that wall, and there's water coming in from the steps into that wall. So we tore that apart, sealed everything up, so that's good to go now. And also, that big air compressor was sitting outside, And so now I've brought that in, and I'm totally going to make it Western and make like a 30-some foot long extension cord and run that sucker off my electric dryer port because I need a 220. So looks legit, looks safe, and then I'll have my air compressor up and running, so pretty excited about that one. Alright guys, I know we didn't get a whole lot done in the garage, kind of a lame video this week, but family in town, I got a lot of stuff done around the house, so it's all ready for the winter coming up in the fall. So that's all good to go. I already went on my big rant about how you shouldn't lie to people when you sell them cars, because otherwise you sell nice people like me piece of junk like this, and I know I should have looked at it better. That's my fault, but still I just wanted it for the transmission, and there's no way to really tell if that's good or not, so I bought it. But I really was thinking I'd be able to make a little bit of money off of these parts, and there's nothing good on this hunk of crap. So I'm ready to push this sucker out the door, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully next week have a video taking this thing out and getting rid of this pile of junk and actually having my garage back. So see ya.